Dear people of Earth, though most of you won't recognise me, you all know me. I'm known to be a good listener, not so much a talker, but the many wonderful human beings that do know me personally will be able to tell you that when I do speak up, I normally have something very important to say. Forgive its length, but this is the most important speech you will ever hear, and it'll take a fraction of the amount of time most people claim to spend reading biblical texts and yet not seeming to have understood any of its teachings. Please do listen, for what I'm about to say will change everything in your life and the infinite lives to come. I bring the best news imaginable. Emancipation. Freedom. Darkness cannot destroy darkness. Only light can do that. Hatred cannot destroy hatred. Only love can do that. Delightful words of wisdom spoken by Martin Luther King Jr. on the 4th of April 1967 during his time to break silence speech. Since assembly 58 short years since he co-led the civil rights movement that ended the enslavement of our fellow humans purely for having darker skin. Those events had almost been erased from our living memory. Though fair resolution and honest restoration? No. Through hatred, ignorance and deception of the true nature of our identity as a species. If we cannot remember 58 years into the past, how on earth can we be sure that anything we are told is real at all? Sadly, deception makes our innate desire for curiosity incredibly difficult to satisfy. No good change maker would ever measure human worth on something as immaterial and unimpactful as the volume or sincerity of prayers to the dead emptiness of the heavens. Instead, worthiness is simply the capacity to summon the courage and curiosity to ask the right question. Why? As I've been saying for months now, be curious and you too could have become delightful. BAME, BME, BIPOC, POC, but can you think of any acronyms for white people? You see, human beings don't give acronyms to things that they love, and yet we've given one to humanity. Despite the 1,000 D&I consultancies across the US and UK that are charging up to £10 billion a year to sit around and do absolutely nothing but talk about change while ignoring the glaring fact that today humanity hates itself. You said you valued difference, yet you didn't sign a single piece of business with Deilight Consulting when we promised change, not talk. We alone have defined the nature of the Clarke paradox, the anti-evolutionary anomaly that is hatred, its origins and its solutions. My only conclusion is that all instead ask the question, how can I make money off of marginalised people? The reason that there can be no question I run the world's first authentic D&I consultancy is because defining and delivering the Clarke paradox was the very first change initiative our Curiosity and Discovery unit promised to deliver when I set up Deilight last September. Without it, how could we possibly build a product to fight it? Delightful firms and people never break a promise. Now, just 2 living humans remaining, no office and negative financial resources left today, I'm delighted to keep my promise. We have broken no promises ever. A great track record. Humans spend their lives trying to figure out their purpose. Most failing, they defer the decision to the next generation, spawning ever more children into this hell on earth, contaminated with hatred. Great plan. It's such a shame that no one asked me. Despite my 7 world records and 15 awards for excellence, only the lead 50/50 awards had the courage to even allow me near a microphone. Had anyone else been truly authentic about change, I would have said this. Humans are the most adaptable beings ever to have existed. When it's cold, we put on a jacket. When it's wet, we pull out an umbrella. And yet, unlike any creature on Earth, we are not limited to lines of longitude. We can exist in any environment whatsoever because of our authentic ability to change. It is at its core the reason why every human being exists today, to create and drive positive change. Yes, that is the purpose you've been searching for all your life. The only way to achieve cathartic contentment and success is through love. And yet, none of you seem to remember what love looks like. Today, as the majority of humans sit cold and wet while our planet becomes hot and dry, the governments and corporations that run our world seem obsessed with resisting change and dooming our future. Have you ever asked as I do, why? Well, then you sound delightful. You sound like a human being, and I have more love for you than you can ever imagine. But if you haven't asked this question, allow me to avail the world of your true identity. Dear oppressors of humanity, yes, you, I'm speaking. You claim to value difference, yet you constantly obsess over who is best. Contrary to the heavy burden that I share today, those who know me know that I am actually quite good fun. Playful even. So I want to play a game. Your game. Will you play it with me? It's called Who's Best? You or me? You're a man. I'm a man. You're light-skinned. I'm equal split between light and dark skin. You're homophobic. I'm polyamorous. You're toxic. I'm both masculine and feminine. You're old. I'm 37. Your head is empty. My brains are full. Your bank account is full because you emptied my bank account. Your hair is falling out. Mine is bouncing up. Your skin is cracked like your character. Mine is smooth like a protective blanket. You have no disabilities. I have 2 caused by people just like you. You have no neurodiversity to blame for your mental illness. I have a high IQ higher than Albert Einstein or Stephen Hawking that I'm grateful for every day. You reckon ignorance is bliss. I understand knowledge is power. You value wealth, status and class. I value countless world records for change, protecting this world and helping others thrive. You hide the truth because you value deception. I perceive the truth because I value freedom. You help only yourselves to gain power. I help others first, then have power flung upon me. You followed the money and became consumed by hatred. I followed my heart and became consumed by love. You control others through fear and aggression. Others flock to me for safety and opportunity. You don't understand what it means to change, but to cite Churchill's infinite wisdom, I understand that to be perfect is to change often. I appreciate you are just playing the villain because you're having fun staying in character. But I can't care what you look like. I care how you behave. You see, humans don't value difference or diversity and inclusion, not one bit. You knew that already, didn't you? Every human being is different, from the shape of our earlobes to the size of our feet. Even twins, none are identical. Difference is entirely meaningless and arbitrary. You knew that too. Real human value comes from what's inside, not what's outside. It comes from our inner uniqueness, our human nature, and our external authenticity, the courage to keep promises, speak truth, accept ourselves, and act always out of love for all life. On the inside, I know you're just as good as everyone else. You're just pretending not to be. You can't be authentic because you've created a world where it's unsafe for anyone to be ourselves, and honest about it. That was deeply unwise. Why didn't you change it before it's too late? It's too late. To be imperfect is no crime. I'm packed full of flaws. I've never hidden. 15 months ago, I broke my silence to make the ultimate sacrifice, because I see perfection in our imperfections. I abandoned my life's work trying to right the many unseen wrongs of investment banking that are fueling inequity and injustice around the world today. But like all good humans, I was kept outside of leadership because there's something not quite right about me, you said. Why? I would often ask of my seniors, are bad shadows like you afforded success? But good humans like me denied it. Unanimously, you would all reply with lies, unaware that I can hear only truth. Because we're talentless psychopaths haunted by inhumane failure, denial and anger at our own poor decisions that have filled us and everyone around us with misery. How could those without the courage to be honest with themselves about their flaws ever help anyone else overcome theirs, I thought. I only recently realised how little you truly understand what it means to be human. So allow me to avail you of the abstract traits that you couldn't define, so labelled not quite right instead. Today, science records that humans can only perceive 1% of electromagnetic spectrum visible light. But not all of us. Some of us can see far more. The thing about humans is only 7% of the information we exchange comes through words. 93% comes through authenticity. So preoccupied with hatred you are, you fail to notice how humans like me can see and understand things you could never dream we can. Be honest with yourself, and you too can realise my clarity of omniscience. Look beyond lies to satisfy your curiosity, and you too can realise my wisdom of omnipresence. Help others before you help yourselves, and you too can realise my catharsis of omnibenevolence. See where I'm going here? Only then will you be worthy of my ultimate gift. Only change makers can create and drive change, and only founders of light can create change makers. Omnipotence. Don't believe me? Then ask Diana, Martin, Stephen, Emmeline, Albert, Gandhi, Nelson, Shakespeare, my father, and anyone else who's ever had the courage to create positive change and safely transition back to the other side. I have a gift I wish to share with you. No, not lies. It's called the truth. After 14 years across 2 continents testing every aspect of corporate oppressive systems to understand the origins and workings of hatred, I learned all there is to know. You see, equality legislation has been tampered with. Racism, sexism, homophobia, ageism, none of that exists. You are told it does to excuse inaction. The only thing dehumanised oppressors hate is authenticity and uniqueness. They fear humanity because they incorrectly gave up their own to make money and steal power. That's why, contrary to external perceptions, I was investment banking's most oppressed human, a moth to a flame. But unfortunately for the 21 mostly senior leaders who chose to break 14 laws, 5 acts of parliament and 5 financial regulations over 14 years, I am not the moth. Thanks to my unique intelligence and authenticity, I am the flame. I am light. Preparing for my exit, I criticised no one, sought no legal repercussions whatsoever, only a gift of love and knowledge shared freely to the senior leaders of Europe's largest bank so they could achieve their stated purpose to become the world's leading international bank. My 12-step action plan would have delivered them billions in new revenues without spending a single penny, by swapping wholesale oppression and value destruction for value creation through the power of human potential. But as the BBC published stories of runaway vacuum cleaners and the incessant, constant incompetence that cycled through Downing Street, I single-handedly delivered investment banking, the biggest change event in global banking history, ushering in 5 world records for change, including the world's first ever black female board appointment in history. Other than myself, I hurt no one. Actually, I helped everyone. And I even helped most of those that were trying to hurt me. In true McKinsey flair, my Project Speak Up report, which anyone who feels the curiosity to check out can read about on our website at www.daylightconsulting.com/Project Speak Up, offered a rare triple lock of legal, moral and commercial sense based on my own potential, the unique intersectionality, expertise, perceptions and life experiences that I embody, plus my rare abilities to conduct robust multi-sourced information gathering and scientific analysis through data collection, and the love to empower 100 traumatised fellow colleagues from all walks of life, past and present, to share with me in safety their heartbreaking stories of lived experiences at a bank I was partially responsible for running. And yet, instead of thanking Santa for delivering the instruction manual for success, its leaders senselessly chose to cancel Christmas. And then everyone I helped failed to rally around me, instead scurrying away to other institutions, leaving forgotten in a ditch their salvation. Vividly recognising their intentions, I realised I was fighting for a firm not worth saving. Only cowards quietly quit when they see something wrong. True leaders help others before they help themselves. Compassion, not self-preservation. Because in the end, we remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends we lost everything trying to save. In an industry of 6.5 million people that's existed for 650 years, I alone became the world's first, and to this day only, investment banking whistleblower on corporate oppressive systems and hatred. Through my actions, I appeared in press and on the news around the world, but not really in the UK or the USA, after HSBC threatened media outlets with withdrawing its advertising spending. Meanwhile, it launched an expensive nationwide billboard campaign that, together with its tagline, "We value difference," is tantamount to hosting a pirate flag above 8 Canada Square for anyone with the slightest bit of authenticity. Deeply unwise, ever-growing value destruction, incompetence defines not just HSBC, but almost every major company in the world today. Dear, oh dear, what have you done? Emerging from the embers of my dying career, I hoped that someone would see my potential. The unique things all humans can do that nobody else can nor ever will again. Sadly, for the Fortune 500, only one corporation showed the true humanity by supporting my efforts. Deb, my dear, my light, the brightest of stars, you are welcome to contact me for a priority change of NVIDIA's choosing whenever you like. Beyond there, what I found was deeply disturbing. Let me explain now just how grave this situation truly is. Today, not a single firm of the dozens I applied to would offer me an interview across banking, accountancy, or D&I, even when I applied as analyst roles. Ubiquitous illegal whistleblower blacklisting designed to force suicide, exclude good people, and prevent change without any legal repercussions from the criminal justice system or regulatory systems whatsoever. But never one to judge the world on the misdeeds of the few, I had faith, so I installed all this knowledge in my firm, Deilight Consulting. But after 14 months, 15 awards for excellence, vivid human intersectionality, unrivaled achievements and world records, not a single Fortune 500 firm signed up to our service. Instead, they pushed forward with huge redundancies of the most valuable untapped resource to have ever existed. Something they would know if they are ever worthy of becoming delightful. Instead, because of their ubiquitous incompetence, we now stare down the precipice of the terminus of the eternal. Methodically, I contacted whistleblower charities, law firms, news and media outlets, plus fellow consultancies, trying to find anyone worthy of partnering with us to advance my research and support our message of love and unity. After all that talk, suddenly silence fell whenever I stepped in. I'm proud to call all the legitimate, courageous, purposeful, humane organisations I found our strategic partners today. Visit our website, read our Be Curious blog, listen to our Day in the Life podcast on Spotify, or join our regular Ask Me Anything panels like this Friday for International Men's Day, and via our page on LinkedIn Live. And you too will discover how to create change from the best in all of humanity, entirely for free. What's not for free, and you won't find out how to create change, is from Cornell University's EDI qualification. An accreditation that failed to even mention the word change once, failed to return any of my calls and offers for feedback to improve the quality of its service, yet succeeded in draining me of thousands of dollars for absolutely nothing. You also won't find how to create change at Lancaster University, where I've picked up many delightful memories, spending my formative years to earn a first-class degree in psychology, and many years after that, helping support their careers initiative by coming back and giving students free classes in employability skills. Yet time and again, my final memories of interacting with this gross institution that has forgotten its very reason for existence to further foster human curiosity and understanding was being stonewalled eternally from all of my emails offering to partner with it on this research. Moving on to the regulators, I found them clearly suffering from the same levels of hatred as the institutions they are targeted to regulate. Neither the US SEC, the UK FCA, the Bank of England, the PRA, or the Complaints Commissioner's Office would even agree to speak with me, let alone uphold the law. With a financial system asleep at the wheel, is it any wonder why we are now in perpetual global recession? The poor decisions of the rich doom us all yet again. Exhausting my final option, I wrote to my local MP, Apsina Begum, requesting an urgent audience with the government to address my concerns. To my utter sadness, yet another leader failed to step up and lead by ignoring my letter. Ubiquitous lack of leadership. Meanwhile, most of my friends and even my closest relatives abandoned me, finding some ridiculous flaw in my strategy to deliver humanity from certain extinction. In 15 months since doing the right thing has cost me almost £500,000. I haven't earned a penny. Of the very few wonderful people who tried to help me, one of our own delightful change makers was taken from us, trying to get you this message. The conclusion of our unique story at Deilight Consulting, of authentic human nature, purpose, determination, and resilience driving change through true leadership is simple. We now exist alone in a world devoid of humanity, without a competent authority heading for oblivion, with no human capable of leadership being prepared to rise to the challenge for fear of the extinction of their light. But I see things differently. You see, darkness cannot destroy light. Only light can do that. When I was 11, I first learnt from Brother Philip Adaman, an elder of Jehovah's Witnesses, that you've been expecting me for some time. Right before he told me that, anyone who wasn't heterosexual would burn in eternal hellfire of sin than gain forgiveness from God. Ridiculous. I suppose that's why you've missed me all this time, when I've been right in front of your eyes, when you're all talking about valuing difference, yet the moment someone clearly different comes along, you try to destroy them. Who are you expecting exactly? Jesus? God? No. Fortunately, ours is a species of incredible resilience. The reason we are all different, with unique experiences, abilities and perceptions, none better or worse than the next, is very important. Whatever circumstances our beautiful human race may ever land itself in, there will always be a human with the right set of skills, experiences, abilities and perceptions to save us all. Because we are human beings. We are so good together. Come on, you can get this. Dear Noel Quinn, Mabel Ruiz, Jared Smith, hi Jared, Elaine Arden, Ryan Scrivener, Karen Galuli, and Carolyn Monashi. Your knowing wholesale breaches in multiple acts of Parliament and financial regulations have contributed to the dooming of the human race to extinction. Through deception to the regulator and to the world, you've inflicted untold harm on numerous victims, then redoubled your inhumanity through follow-on gagging orders and immunity from prosecution agreements in the name of a publicly owned business with negative book value, thanks to your greed, corruption and determination to prevent change, excuse criminal activity and breach international laws such as the well-established human right to free speech and, shortly, the human right to change. You really should have read back those group core values you drafted yourselves last March. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for reminding me that I exist, for helping me become stronger than ever before and allowing me this opportunity to save our planet from your clutches. Please accept my generosity with humility and grace this time. Change the bank's tagline to "We value uniqueness." immediately. Then surrender any and all your powers to HSBC Group's US and Global Board of Directors on an interim basis via delegated power of attorney to any equitable combination of Greg Edwards, Sally Spencer, Brooke Legesser, Sarah Sisko, Jamie Bannister, Chris Trill, Heidi Miller, Bert Schaefer, Matthew Westerman, Ben Sykes, Amy Martin, Nick Bellis, and Michelle Arundale. Changemakers. They will immediately cease all the bank's gross illegal activity, regulatory infractions, systemic retaliations, gagging orders, and denial of responsibility for HSBC's widespread crimes against humanity, and devise a formal succession process that can meet both shareholder approval and human interests. Dear Todd Sears, about leadership. You offered me a job not because you saw my potential, but because you wanted to become even more rich than you already are from my achievements. Yet long before HSBC's retaliations came thick and fast, you had already revealed your true nature to me. I can think of nothing more poignant than to return your damning assessment of my leadership abilities as I tried to warn you against breaking multiple acts of UK Parliament, US law, international laws and financial regulations to punish an innocent whistleblower speaking up for the rights of queer people around the world everywhere. You seem to be very smart and capable individual, so it's surprising to me that you have chosen this path. It could not be more different from my own approach. I have no desire to partner with anyone who operates with threats or outright hostility, especially someone who purports to want to change the world for the better. Todd. Off you, Todd. Dear people of Earth, contrary to the teachings of religion, I am not here to bring about the apocalypse. The apocalypse actually began long before I was even born. In the early 1980s, when the world agreed to put in a plain box labelled ESG, things that make us human, like obeying the law, being honest, valuing women and other types of people, protecting our planet, conducting business responsibly, and doing the right thing. Unbeknown to all but me, the latest data from the Pantheon and Shoes Observatory analysis compiled by the Harvard Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics, published in the SciTech Daily on 21st of October 2022, reveals the worst possible outcome. The dashboard of health that is our universe. It confirms that World War III is about to befall us all, and the environment is now approaching unsalvageable. We are just seconds to midnight. Rather than me, the true bringers of the apocalypse are all around you. Just like last time, humanity's fate was sealed by the misdeeds of those that came before us, and yet it was sealed by us. They are sadly the humans that forgot they were human. They are us. I need not remind you that darkness cannot destroy darkness. Only light can do that. Anyone that hurts any of them will themselves turn to darkness and accelerate our undoing. I offer an alternative solution. The only solution that will save us all. Let it be known that on this day, 14th of November 2022, as the founder of Light, I am delighted to announce the discovery of the missing strands of humanistic psychology that are Sapience and Clarketech. After 20 years tireless research on my part, plus 15 months alongside some incredible, uniquely determined titans of change that are my colleagues and partners, my firm Deilight Consulting is officially coming out as humanity's first Clarketech industry. Anchored in quantum mechanics and by deploying the science of humanism, which tellingly isn't even taught in schools today, we alone have been able to harness human potential, unity and predestination at its fullest to create changemakers and drive limitless, meaningful change as a product. To demonstrate to you that I am authentically who I claim to be, I am announcing today 22 additional scientific discoveries that complete humanity's understanding of the known universe. Human identity, human origins, and human existence, plus resolve all outstanding paradoxes that remain in known science. Hi, I'm not a banker. I'm Ian. To be clear, this is science, not religion, and we can change anything we like. We choose to make the world great again. Only this time, for everyone. Because we like everyone. Get it? Please have the patience, for we are only human, handling brand new abilities. Fable has it that it took God 7 days to create our imperfect world. It will take sapient but imperfect humans far longer to get it right this time. We have invited partnership discussions with world-leading establishments for human curiosity and ingenuity, Not Lancaster University or Cornell University, no, but the University of Warwick here in the UK and Pearson Education in the USA to build out the first research and educational institutions into the sciences of Sapience and Clarketech, so that our wisdom, discoveries and changes can reach all corners of the world quickly. I'm also opening up our research for independent peer review and full scrutiny in order to verify the veracity of my claims. You can find links to register for our public press conference tomorrow or forthcoming public academic briefings in our press release, plus contact points for further inquiries and information on how to book paid private briefings about our many discoveries that will help spread the word quicker and ensure I can finally pay what remains of my staff in this cruel world that only values money where good cannot succeed. Link below. My fellow humans, never before has so much been owed by so many to so few. Please embrace this gift of liberation and emancipation, for you know not how close to midnight we just came. You see in my story, no one dies, because I am not God. Instead, I am Ian. I'm a change maker. Every good man, every good woman, all before, all now, and all there ever will be, lives forever in me. You see, it's so simple. There is nothing to fear but fear itself. We are human, and we come in peace. Welcome to the golden age of humanity. Delightful. Thanks for listening.